Welcome back to The Explainer, guys. Today we are tearing into this absolutely massive cinematic action script called Vengeance and Honor, the Knight versus the Captain. We're going to see exactly how a writer builds pure atmospheric tension and paces out this high-octane combat right there on the page, literally from the very first line all the way to the final fade-out.
Okay, let's dive into this. Right off the bat, the writer hits us with a classic, deep-voice narrator to deliver this killer opening hook. In a world without trust, two legends collide. It instantly sets this super gritty, paranoid tone. We are immediately pulled into these massive cinematic stakes way before we even get a glimpse of our characters' faces.
And what's wild is that before a single punch is even thrown, it's clear we've got an absolute ideological war on our hands. The script literally puts their dialogues side by side to highlight their core motivations. You've got Batman relying purely on intimidation, saying fear keeps criminals in line. But then Captain America just flat out rejects that, countering with, no, justice does. This is such a crucial takeaway if you're analyzing or writing your own stuff. The absolute best physical brawls are always rooted in deeply opposed worldviews.
Section 1, a clash of ideologies, the atmosphere. So let's see how this dark cinematic style perfectly mirrors that exact tension. Look at how deliberate the script is with its setting. It's like the environment itself is heavy with this ideological clash. We are dropped right into this desolate, abandoned industrial city. You got heavy rain, crashing thunder, totally destroyed streets. And the character entrances? Absolutely iconic. Batman emerges from the deep shadows on a rooftop, while Cap just strides right through the smoke, shield in hand. The writer is using these stark, elemental cues to build so much anticipation before the action even kicks off.
Section 2, First Strike, Tactics versus Shield. Time to break down this first rooftop fight like we're calling a heavyweight championship match.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is looking at how their totally different combat arsenals completely dictate the flow of the battle. In the left corner, you've got Batman's crazy array of gadgets: batarings, grappling hooks, EMP smoke bombs, thermal vision, the whole shebang. Over in the right corner, Cap's vibranium shield, super soldier stamina, and instant reflexes. It is a brilliant setup, calculated, high-tech trickery going up against raw, enhanced physicality. So let's look at the actual script beats here, because they are sharp and incredibly fast. Boom, Batman throws a batarang. Bam, Cap blocks it instantly with a massive clang. Next, Batman fires a grappling hook, but Cap just grabs the cable and actually hurls Batman right into a wall. It's this rapid-fire, back-and-forth volley, but notice how the script explicitly says Batman recovers instantly. There's zero downtime. It's totally relentless, which is exactly how you keep your audience glued to the edge of their seats. Section 3. Escalation and the contingency. Now we're shifting focus down into an underground tunnel, and man, the stakes and the weaponry really start to escalate. This right here is the major turning point. We get a direct comparison of how they are actively adapting. Batman actually steps out in a heavier tactical suit. He knows he needs to upgrade his armor to survive those brutal super soldier hits. Meanwhile, Cap is fully utilizing his raw power and the enclosed concrete space, throwing his shield so it violently ricochets off the walls. They are both pushing their gear and the environment to the absolute limit. But right in the middle of all this heavy, destructive action, the script forces us to just take a breath. Cap asks if all this was planned out, and we get this incredibly heavy exchange. Contingency plans save lives, Batman tells him. And Cap just replies, sometimes they destroy them too. You see? Every single physical strike in this scene is anchored in their opposing views on the world. It's a massive debate about total control versus trust, but they're literally having it with fists and heavy armor. That is a masterclass in making us actually care about the action. Section 4. The fiery final showdown. We're moving out of the dark tunnel and straight into a burning warehouse, with alarms absolutely blaring. You can actually trace the momentum of the whole battle just by looking at the shifting environments. The cinematic stakes just keep rising. We started off round 1 with that agile, open-air combat up on the rooftop. Then we ratcheted things up in round 2 with those claustrophobic, brutal hits down in the tunnel. And now, round 3, we are in a burning warehouse that is literally disintegrating around them as the fight hits its absolute maximum intensity. The script shifts into slow motion right here to emphasize the sheer, bone-crushing weight of this combat. Batman punches. Cap blocks. The shield slams right back into Batman. The tactical combat is literally peaking right here. Sonic disruptors are screaming, flames are roaring everywhere, and neither of these guys is backing down a single inch.
And it all culminates in this massive, chaotic climax. Batman wraps a grappling hook around Cap's leg, and they both go crashing straight through a glass window just as the fire and the sonic disruptors trigger this huge explosion behind them. It is the exact explosive cinematic peak the script has been relentlessly building toward since page 1.
Section 5. Dawn of Mutual Respect. Let's bring the energy down a bit here, because Scene 5 opens at dawn, and it's a completely different vibe.
The fire's burned out, and both heroes are just standing there, completely exhausted. The writer makes a point to note that nobody actually wins this fight. Instead, we get this incredible final exchange. Cap looks over and says, "Next time, no holding back." And Batman, he just replies, "Next time, bring back up," right before vanishing into the shadows, leaving Cap with this subtle little smile. It's such a brilliant evolution. All that intense paranoia and distrust from Scene 1 has synthesized into this grudging, battle-tested mutual respect. They aren't exactly best friends, but they totally respect what the other brings to the table. Which leaves us with this absolutely massive question. Right before they part ways, Cap has this sudden realization and says aloud, "Maybe we're fighting the wrong enemy." And Batman just replies, "Maybe." So if these two legends are fighting the wrong enemy, who is the right one? It is a killer structural cliffhanger that completely flips the script and leaves you desperate for the coming soon continuation. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.